The TransMedics Organ Care System for the Heart, or OCS Heart as it has been trademarked, is the result of over 20 years of dedicated research and development. It has completely transformed the way a donor heart can be transported and allows for thorough monitoring, support, and importantly, the assessment of the organ throughout the journey. Previously, donor hearts would be removed from the donor, circulation completely stopped, and the heart would be placed inside a sterile bag and stored in a cooler box full of ice. With the use of the OCS heart, the heart can be connected to the device and effectively restarted. Donor blood is then circulated through the organ and vital nutrient products are used to ensure the muscle and tissue are remaining viable and healthy. The heart is pumping within the machine until such time that it can be placed into the recipient. The OCS medical device is the first of its type. It is a patented product and offers a very significant improvement on the existing cold storage preservation process. It was first approved as an organ transport container with a medical device class 2A by the Australian Therapeutic Goods Administration in 2007 and first received the CE mark in 2006, which was updated in 2015. However, the product is still under FDA review in the United States of America. Given the nature of the medical device industry and the resistance of change due to moral, legal, and ethical issues surrounding the industry, the product was required to undergo many clinical trials, assessments, and reviews to gain the recommendations required to make the product commercially available. Whilst the OCS product has had TGA approval for about 10 years, it is the use of the machine with donor hearts from circulatory deaths, or DCD, that is the truly innovative focus currently under review. In 2014, in a world first, St Vincent's Hospital in Sydney performed 2 successful heart transplants, utilising the hearts from donors who had died from circulatory death. This was only made possible through the use of the OCS heart, along with a special preservation solution, which was the result of research and development by the Victor Chang Cardiac Research Institute and St Vincent's Hospital. The combination of this solution with the OCS heart allowed surgeons to restart the DCD hearts and assess any damage prior to proceeding with the recipient's transplant procedure. The OCS heart is the only transplant product that allows for the use of a heart donation after circulatory death. Without this machine, this process is not possible. The successful outcome of the DCD transplants has been considered an extraordinary event that could have an enormous impact on the transplant medicine field. A decline in heart health of the general population has seen an increase in the demand for donor hearts. The number of people suffering from heart failure was the formation of a demographic market, and the treating hospitals and care providers for these patients form the key target market for TransMedics. According to the 2017 annual report from the Australia and New Zealand Cardiothoracic Transplant Registry, there were 159 new additions made to the heart transplant waitlist that year. In comparison, there were 117 heart transplants performed, 8 patients on the waiting list died waiting, and 9 patients became too ill to be considered as viable candidates. The remaining patients were rolled over to the following year's waitlist. This demonstrates a growing problem, the increasing number of people suffering chronic heart failure, and the biggest challenge is viable donor hearts. With the use of this machine, medical teams have been able to utilise previously discarded hearts from patients who have suffered a circulatory death. This significant change allows the field to increase the prospective donor pool, optimising the chances for the many patients with chronic heart failure awaiting that life-saving procedure. Unfortunately, the use of this machine is a lot more expensive than an esky full of ice. According to the National Institute for Health and Care Excellence MedTech Innovation Briefing, the OCS Heart console costs £180,000, which is roughly 327,000 Australian dollars, whilst the perfusion set, which is single use, is a further £30,000, or just under 55,000 Australian dollars. This cost has been an inhibiting factor to the acceptance and integration of the OCS Heart in the market. It is worth noting at this point that the practice of using the machine with DCD hearts will mean that once the cost has been balanced against the cost savings from increasing the donor pool and reducing the number of patients requiring long-term care awaiting transplants, it becomes evident that the additional benefits this product provides is vital to the industry. TransMedics are leading the advance in transplant organ care and are constantly impacted by the technological environment. With the advances in technology and research, TransMedics are required to adapt to changes. They must continue to improve the service by utilising advances in medicine and ensuring they regularly keep the product updated. As previously mentioned, medical innovation is often met with market delays and barriers due to moral, ethical, and legal challenges. These political and social environment factors are of concern for TransMedics, particularly with the use of the OCS heart with DCD hearts. Acceptance of using donor hearts from circulatory death is still in the trial stage in the USA, awaiting FDA approval. However, in Australia, at least 15 people have received a second chance at life, utilising these types of donor hearts, which would have been previously considered unviable and they would have been discarded. A major market segment for this product is based on demographics within the health industry. TransMedics will be required to focus efforts on the hospitals that are recognised cardiothoracic transplant centres within countries that have relative health budgets to meet the cost of the new equipment, and where the majority of the cultural influences will not negate the use of such a device. The company has already established working relationships with several leading hospitals across Europe, Australia, and Canada. Recently, the Prince Charles Hospital in Brisbane acquired one of the machines, utilising funding from the New Technology Funding and Evaluation Program, where the funding provided for this evaluation was listed as over $440,000. The evaluation findings at the Prince Charles will provide recommendations for the future use and investment in the technology within Queensland. Another identified key market opportunity for this product is based on the behavioural segment for the benefits sought. Hospitals that seek the latest technology and superior equipment for the best surgical outcomes will be attracted to this product. The ability to offer an increase in the number of transplant surgeries due to the increased viability of organs and potential use of DCD hearts is an opportunity for hospitals to help more patients and delivering greater efficiency. The TransMedics OCS Heart is a specialised industrial product. The company identified that the existing method of donor organ transportation was jeopardising the quality of the organs, thus started with a concept to build a device that would take advantage of technological advancements to deliver a product that would be far superior to an esky full of ice. The OCS Heart not only improves storage of the organ, it actually optimises the organ by replenishing the oxygen and nutrient levels throughout transportation. From the time the heart is secured inside the OCS chamber until it is disconnected for the insertion to the recipient patient, the coronary flow, aortic pressure, heart rate, and electrical pulse are constantly monitored. The organ has been perfused with temperature-controlled donor blood to replicate the human body conditions. The clear chamber allows medical specialists to assess the viability of the organ and to constantly monitor it during the transport process. Blood samples are tested for electrolyte and glucose levels, and the arterial blood gas levels are checked regularly. These features alone would be an improvement on the previous transport process. However, it is with the development of these features that some DCD hearts have now been approved for organ transplant. Gaining acceptance to use DCD hearts will increase the number of viable donor hearts available, thus improving the transplant outcomes for many more patients. The TransMedics OCS Heart is still in the introductory stage of the product life cycle, and whilst the organ care system has been met with some acceptance constraints, particularly due to the cost of the machine and the ethical issues surrounding the use of DCD hearts, it is having a massive impact on the organ transplant medicine field. The founder has dedicated over 23 years to the research and development of the product and continues to work through concerns to promote TransMedics' position in the organ transplant field around the world. In the Oslo Manual Guidelines for Collecting and Interpreting Innovation Data of 2005, innovation has been defined as either a new or significantly improved implementation of goods and services, marketing methods, processes, or organisational practices. The TransMedics organ care system is evidence of an innovative product, as previously discussed. The use of the OCS heart with the practice of using a donor heart from a circulatory determined death fits in the processes innovations category and is changing the industry practice for the selection criteria of transplant organs. The introduction of using the machine to increase the donor pool and potentially save more lives is a demonstration of the innovation of this product. The organ care system has been described as disruptive innovation. Christensen's disruption theory suggests that through identifying overlooked segments and focusing on delivering more suitable functionality, a smaller company with less resources is able to successfully challenge the existing industry leaders. In 2018, the founder of TransMedics, Dr. Waleed Hassanein, was recognised at the Tribeca Disruptive Awards. The awards focus on recognising breakthroughs in technology and culture, where often resistance to change can hinder progress to finding solutions to some of the world's more challenging issues. The limited number of viable donor organs has been identified as a major issue impacting the transplant medicine field. Through the ability to restart a heart using the OCS machine, medical teams in Australia have been able to utilise the hearts from donors who have passed away from circulatory death. This change to the standard practice has the potential to increase the donor pool and potentially save more lives. This innovative product is giving hope for future organ recipients. Medical teams in Australia have been able to utilise the hearts from donors who have passed away from circulatory death and to date have saved at least 15 patients suffering chronic heart failure with this combination of OCS and DCD hearts. This process is expanding the opportunities of viable organ selection and is an incredible achievement. TransMedics identified an issue with the current procedure for transplant organ care and has managed to successfully introduce a solution to the market. There is no denying that this product is leading the way to transform an outdated and inefficient process. The OCS heart from TransMedics will save more lives, and the potential is enormous.